So the Thunder locker room, not a happy place last night. Lots of curse words, frustration over Carmelo Anthony getting ejected from Oklahoma City's game against Portland. And honestly, I don't blame those guys one bit. Let's rewind to the incident, shall we? Yep, here's Melo heading to the basket for a layup. Yusuf Nurkic rising up to meet him, then Melo double clutching and knocking into Nurkic's chin as he gets to the bucket. Look, Anthony actually earned an and one here initially, but Nurkic stayed on the floor for a while. The officials began reviewing the play, and suddenly the call was a flagrant 2 on Melo. The crew chief later said Melo was tossed because the contact was excessive, and the way Melo seeks out Nurkic was not a natural basketball move. This prompted our Royce Young to post this. There is literally a how-to video of finishing through contact that shows plays exactly like Melo was tossed for. Of course, the Blazers had their own social media spin on all of this. Here was their tweet. Yep, see what they did here? Ha! Of course, you're not going to be shocked to hear that the Thunder found none of this quite so funny. Here's Russell Westbrook and Paul George.
Nonsense, man. It don't make any sense, man. You can't get kicked out for some nonsense like that.
It's crazy that it was an ejection, flagrant on that play, especially when Russ just got dinged right in front of him.
Oh yeah, that's the other issue. That just a few minutes earlier, Westbrook got smacked in the side of the face on a Portland reach-in. No foul called, and when Coach Billy Donovan asked officials to take a look at it, he was denied. After the game, Billy said, quote, "I probably didn't ask Russell to stay down on the court long enough to get it reviewed," which is an amazing quote, but not as strong as what Russ had to say.
Look at it, just a bunch of bullshit in my opinion. I just think they don't referee the same way all the time. They pick and choose when they want to do it, which is not fair in my opinion. I've been in this league for a while, and I'm able to see it and understand and see what's right or what's wrong, but I can see it's blatant. It's not getting looked at, in my opinion. Like, if you get hit, you need to look at it. You gotta look at everything else. You need to take a look at it.
Look, this is where I will say NBA refs are generally pretty exceptional at their jobs. And if you doubt that, just go watch college basketball for a few hours and get back to me. I will also say that for me, it is very hard to see the Melo play as anything more than a flagrant 1 at most. But much more important is this. The Thunder were losing by 11 when Anthony was tossed. Afterward, well, they started fighting back, getting the game within 2 before eventually falling to some of Portland's now standard late-game heroics. So maybe the Melo ejection was completely unfair. Maybe it gets reduced or overturned by the league office. But watching the Thunder players all get angry together and then all sound off together, it seemed important somehow. This is a team that is still trying to mesh into what it will eventually be. And it felt like they took a step toward that last night, even in a loss, even if it did cost Carmelo Anthony an early shower. Brian, do you think they had a right to be so angry?
Well, I don't agree that it should have been an ejection, but I think it was an offensive foul and it was an unnatural basketball act. With all due respect to Royce Young, the difference between the plays on that video and the plays here was that those players were in between the player and the rim. In this case, Carmelo seeks out Nurkic to hit him. And to me, this is absolutely something you have to protect the player. And by the way, it's amazing this ball goes in the basket. I'd like to point that out to him. Also, while I don't like the fact that it was an ejection, if you are going to err on the side of protecting players from getting hit to the head, I'm for that. Especially in this era where we're more sensitive to concussions. I don't want to see guys get elbowed to the head. So I understand why the Thunder are upset. I was actually okay with the call. If they roll it back to a flagrant 1, I'll understand, but I'm not gonna fault them because Carmelo was seeking to get an and 1 play on there.
Yeah, look, I think every player is responsible for the safety of the other 9 players on the floor. That said, I think we need to do a better job of interpreting intent. You can never get inside a guy's head, but I think the video demonstrates to some extent, was this deliberate? Now, Royce does have a point in this sense. I mean, he was double clutching with the attempt that, and because he was in really no position that first, before the double clutch, to really hit the shot. I mean, he put himself in a position to kind of wind up and shoot. Listen, I think balancing safety with intent is the key. I mean,
it's just interesting to me that we spend so much time on all these basketball shows and clicking through the highlights online of, oh my God, did you see the way he got that basket? That was crazy, the move he did around the basket. That was crazy what he did to get around that defender. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh wait, except when you do it here, it's a flagrant 2 and it's an ejection.
He double clutched away from the rim.
Well, again.
And that play with Russ that got hit in the face, It's unfortunate there was not a foul called there, but that was a natural basketball act. He's reaching in, and Russ runs into his arm. That's unfortunate. I feel bad that wasn't called, but Melo is double clutching with the intent of getting a foul.
My point is we celebrate unnatural basketball acts regularly in this sport, so we may want to just take it down a notch. Flagrant one,
I
offensive
disagree.
foul.
I don't think we celebrate
But the
unnatural.
sheer fact that it was
like
an offensive and one at the beginning.
We're not celebrating the shots to the crotch, but yes.
No, the sheer fact that it was called initially, the referee under the basket, and one, suggested that it was not a conclusive.
But then they reviewed it and
deliberate
got the
action.
call right that it was an offensive foul. I think the
I agree
officials-
with you. It was an offensive foul. It was not ejection worthy.
Okay, fine.
There you go.